Chosen one, listen closely, for this message is not ordinary, and it is not reaching you by coincidence. You are being summoned. Heaven is calling your name with urgency and divine intention. Monday is approaching, not as a normal day, but as a doorway, a decree, a spiritual appointment written into your destiny long before you were born. Do not ignore this moment. If you treat it lightly, you may pass by the blessing prepared specifically for you. This is not a prediction, it is a proclamation. Heaven bends toward your life and announces, your shift is here. The unseen realm has already begun to move. The atmosphere around your destiny is tightening and awakening. That restlessness in your spirit, the heaviness in your chest, the whisper that something is coming, these are not random. They are the Lord aligning you for the breakthrough tied to Monday. You are hearing this because you were led here by design, not chance. When heaven calls, the wise listen. When heaven warns, the faithful respond. Monday is not another mark on a calendar. It is a divine unveiling, a moment when what God built in silence begins to rise into sight. He did not allow you to endure storms, betrayal, confusion, and long seasons of waiting so this moment would pass you by. Your appointed time is near, and before the door opens, He requires your attention. Declare your readiness. Align your spirit. Seal your covenant. If this word resonates with you, type 777 to indicate your agreement. Comment your faith, speak your alignment, and if you feel the weight of this calling, like this message, share it and subscribe so every prophetic word meant for you will continue to find you. Monday is coming, and heaven is preparing to move. Monday is approaching with a weight that cannot be dismissed, for it has been marked in the spiritual realm long before you became aware of it. It is not simply the beginning of another week. It is a moment written into the architecture of your destiny, a holy intersection between what heaven has prepared and what your life is finally ready to receive. Monday stands as a divine appointment, an ordained checkpoint where the plans of God converge with the maturity of your spirit. Nothing about this moment is ordinary. Nothing about this timing is random. As Moses encountered the burning bush on a day that began like any other, yet became the catalyst for the greatest shift in his life, so Monday has been designated as your burning bush moment. It arrives softly in the natural world, yet fiercely in the spiritual realm, carrying instructions, alignment, and revelation. This day has been woven into your story with intention. Heaven does not schedule breakthroughs according to human calendars, but according to readiness, obedience, and spiritual alignment. When the internal structure of your spirit becomes strong enough to hold what God has prepared, the appointed day reveals itself. Monday is such a day. It carries a divine rhythm that your soul has already sensed, even if your mind has not yet understood it. You may have felt time stretching strangely, patterns shifting, or an unexplainable awareness following you through the week. These are signs that heaven has already begun to move. The spiritual atmosphere thickens before a divine release, just as the air becomes heavy before rain breaks open the sky. Monday holds that kind of heaviness, not a burden, but a holy pressure, signaling that something long concealed is about to surface. There is a reason your spirit has been restless. There is a reason your thoughts have been drawn toward change, clarity, or a new direction. There is a reason your inner world has felt unsettled, as if something invisible has been approaching. Restlessness is often the first announcement of spiritual transition. It is not anxiety, it is awakening. Not confusion, but preparation. Not fear, but the trembling of destiny drawing near. When heaven is about to unveil a new chapter, the soul feels it before the mind perceives it, and the body reacts before circumstances shift. That is the nature of alignment. It begins with the unseen. Monday stands as a threshold. On one side is everything you endured, everything that shaped you, everything that tested you in silence. On the other side is the unfolding of what was promised, refined, and reserved specifically for your journey. This is why the day is charged with divine significance. The blueprint of your destiny includes seasons of hiddenness, but it also includes moments of unveiling, and this upcoming Monday carries the signature of unveiling not through dramatic events, but through a deep spiritual clarity that settles into your soul. The Lord positions this day as a marker in your journey, a moment where obedience meets opportunity, where preparation meets purpose, where endurance meets elevation. Monday is not waiting for you to be perfect. It is waiting for you to be present. It is a day that signals heaven's readiness to move pieces long arranged behind the veil. As Moses was called into his divine assignment on an otherwise ordinary day, so you are being called into alignment with what has been waiting for you in the unseen realms. Monday carries the breath of destiny, the pulse of purpose, and the whisper of God saying, "The time is now." Hey, end quote. Before the unveiling of a divine appointment, there is always a season of quiet construction, and this truth is echoed not only in Scripture, but also in the writings of C.S. Lewis. In Mere Christianity, Lewis describes how transformation often begins not with noise or spectacle, but with the subtle rearranging of the heart, an internal shift that prepares a person for a new direction they did not previously understand. He explains that God does not force great change through dramatic external events. Rather, he starts by aligning the will, shaping the inner life quietly until the moment comes when outward change becomes inevitable. This is precisely the kind of spiritual work that has been happening within you. While you may have felt still, delayed, or suspended between seasons, the quiet was never a sign of abandonment. It was a formation. It was God working in the depths of your spirit, strengthening what needed to be strengthened and softening what needed to be softened. Lewis wrote that true transformation often feels uncomfortable because it challenges the old structures within us, breaking down parts that cannot support the future God intends. This inner restructuring is not visible to the world, but it is unmistakable to the soul that experiences it. And it is this inner work, slow, steady, sacred, that has prepared you for what Monday now carries toward your life. The alignment you feel, the stirring within you, the subtle recognition that something is shifting. These are signs that the silent construction is complete. The internal renovation God has performed, just as Lewis described, has brought you to the threshold of revelation. Monday is simply the moment when the inward work begins to manifest outwardly, confirming that nothing in your silent season was wasted. The shifts you have been sensing within yourself are not random, and they are not emotional noise. They are spiritual indicators, early signals that something in the unseen realm has already begun to move toward your life. When heaven prepares a transition, the spirit often receives the message before the mind can interpret it. That restless feeling that rises without warning, the sudden heaviness in your chest, the inexplicable awareness that something is approaching, these experiences are not disruptions, but invitations. They are evidence that your inner world is adjusting to a divine timing that is drawing near. Do not dismiss what you feel simply because you cannot explain it. Do not minimize the signs simply because others do not understand them. Do not silence your intuition because the shift has not yet manifested in the physical. These sensations are spiritual announcements, the quiet language God uses when He prepares the soul for transformation. When alignment begins, the natural rhythms of your days feel different. Conversations seem charged with meaning. Thoughts become unusually clear or unusually unsettled, and even ordinary moments feel as if they carry hidden weight. This is what happens when destiny moves closer. The Spirit recognizes divine timing before circumstances catch up. What feels like tension is often spiritual expansion. What feels like confusion is often the collapsing of old patterns that can no longer accompany your next season. What feels like uncertainty is often the stretching of your faith toward a future that is already unfolding. This is why the signs matter. They reveal that the internal shift is ahead of the external one. They show that your spirit is stepping into alignment with what heaven has already declared. And when the inner world aligns, The outer world must eventually follow. The movement you sense is not imagination, it is confirmation. Monday carries the vibration of purpose, and your spirit is responding to it even now. Your awareness is sharpening, your sensitivity increasing, and your discernment awakening because you are approaching a divine appointment that has been waiting for the fullness of time. The signs are not meant to frighten you but to prepare you, for the blessing that comes on Monday will resonate first in your spirit before it ever appears in your reality. The quiet chapters of your life, the ones where nothing seemed to move, where prayers felt unanswered, and where doors remained closed, were never signs that God had turned away from you. Silence is not the absence of God. It is often the workshop of heaven. In the unseen realm, the most significant construction happens out of view, where the foundations of destiny are strengthened long before they ever rise into the light. This is why your silent seasons carried so much weight, even though they felt empty. They were not periods of neglect. They were periods of protection. Every delay you encountered, every detour you faced, every moment you felt overlooked was a strategic act of preservation. You were being shielded from environments, opportunities, and relationships that would have weakened the future God was preparing for you. What felt like stillness was actually movement behind the veil. Consider Joseph, who walked through years of silence that looked like abandonment, but were actually the preparation for extraordinary elevation. Betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, forgotten in prison, every chapter appeared to be a downward spiral, yet every step was positioning him for the exact moment when his destiny would unfold. The silence was not a judgment, it was a refining. His character was strengthened, his discernment sharpened, and his spirit matured so that when the appointed time arrived, he could carry the weight of the blessing without collapsing under it. What happened to Joseph mirrors what has been happening in your life. The seasons where you felt hidden were not wasted. They were the places where God refined you, strengthened you, and shaped you into someone capable of receiving the magnitude of what He intends to release. In silence, God removes what cannot go with you. In silence, He corrects what would have hindered your progress. In silence, He prepares the heart to handle both elevation and responsibility. You are not being punished. You are being purified. You were not being forgotten. You were being formed. There is purpose in every unanswered prayer, wisdom in every closed door, and strategy in every delay. What felt like stagnation was actually stabilization. God was anchoring you, deepening your roots, and ensuring that when the blessing comes, it will last. This is why Monday carries such profound meaning. It is not arriving as a surprise, but as the unveiling of what has been quietly built over time. The silent work is complete. The internal strengthening has served its purpose. The lessons learned in loneliness, the clarity gained in isolation, and the resilience built in the shadows, all of it now prepares you for the breakthrough that aligns with Monday's divine assignment. You endured seasons that others would not survive. You carried burdens that others could not bear. You remained faithful in moments where faith felt unreasonable. And because of this, heaven has marked the coming shift with intentionality. The silence was never a sign that nothing was happening. It was a sign that everything was being arranged with precision. Monday is simply the moment when what was hidden begins to reveal itself, when the promises you carried quietly begin to manifest openly. What God constructed in the shadows will now step into the light, not by your striving, but by His perfect timing. There is a distinction resting on your life, one that was forged not in moments of ease, but in seasons of endurance. You have walked through valleys that would have crushed many, carried burdens that were never visible to others, and remained steadfast in times when giving up would have been the simpler choice. This endurance is not accidental. It is evidence of a rare strength. You belong to the few who persisted when everything around them seemed to discourage progress. You continued to believe even when the heavens felt silent, and you maintained integrity even when circumstances tested your character on every side. This kind of endurance is the foundation upon which God builds significant destinies. There are many who desire elevation, but only a small number can withstand the shaping required for it. You are among those refined by pressure rather than broken by it. Every trial carved something necessary into you. Every disappointment strengthened a piece of your resolve. Every moment you chose faith over frustration added spiritual weight to your identity. The world often rewards speed, but heaven rewards endurance. What you carried during your silent seasons became the currency that now authorizes you to step into a higher realm of purpose. You continued walking when the path was unclear. You continued trusting when answers did not come. You continued standing when your heart felt tired. These choices were not small. They became the proof of who you are. Someone who cannot be easily shaken, someone who can be entrusted with revelation, someone whose spirit responds to God even when circumstances do not. This rare endurance is why the upcoming shift belongs to you. Elevation is not granted to the convenient. It is granted to the faithful. You were strengthened through hardship, matured through uncertainty, and refined through spiritual resistance. What others saw as setbacks were actually confirmations of your capacity. And now, as Monday approaches, heaven acknowledges what your journey has proven. This is not a blessing for the masses. It is a blessing for those who endured without losing their identity, purpose, or faith. Your endurance was not wasted. It was preparing you to carry what others could not. And because you remained steadfast, you are now positioned to rise into the realm heaven has reserved for those who can be trusted with greater responsibility, clarity, and spiritual authority. When a divine appointment reaches maturity, it does not always enter your life with thunder or spectacle. The greatest moves of God often arrive softly, in ways that settle into the soul long before they appear in the physical realm. Monday's blessing will follow this sacred pattern. It will not come to overwhelm you. It will come to align you. It will not arrive as chaos. It will arrive as clarity. It will not erupt loudly. It will whisper with unmistakable certainty. The blessing that belongs to Monday will reveal itself first as an inner knowing, a profound sense of recognition, as if your spirit suddenly says, "This is what I have been waiting for." It may come through a shift in thought, a sudden peace, a new opportunity, or a message that resonates so deeply you feel it in your bones. This is because God often speaks in ways that bypass the noise of the world and go straight into the interior of the soul. Many expect blessings to announce themselves dramatically, but heaven often moves through stillness. A whisper can carry more divine power than a storm when it reaches the right heart. Monday is prepared to deliver this kind of blessing, precise, personal, and aligned. Nothing about it will feel forced. Instead, it will feel natural, almost inevitable, as though it was always meant to unfold exactly the way it does. That is the nature of divine alignment. It flows instead of fighting. It harmonizes instead of disrupting. It reveals instead of confusing. What is meant for you will not demand chaos. It will bring order. Your spirit will sense the shift before your circumstances reflect it. That is how heaven communicates with those who are spiritually awake. The physical world is always the last to catch up when heaven releases something. First, the mind expands, then the emotions settle. Then the atmosphere shifts. Only after these layers align does the blessing take form in visible reality. Monday's blessing follows this sequence. It will begin deep within, like a seed unlocking its purpose before breaking the soil. You may notice a sudden clarity in decisions that once felt tangled, or a release from burdens you carried too long, or a door opening that requires no striving to walk through. These are signs that the invisible has begun to manifest. The blessing will not confuse you. It will confirm you. It will not disrupt your identity. It will strengthen it. It will not demand that you become someone else. It will reveal who you already are. And as it unfolds, You will understand why the silent seasons were necessary and why Monday was chosen as the moment of unveiling. The blessing will arrive gently, yet its impact will be undeniable. It will settle into your life the way dawn settles over the horizon, quietly, steadily, and with a light that makes everything clear. Every chapter of your life, even the ones you wish you could erase, has been woven into a divine blueprint, crafted with precision. Nothing you endured was random, nothing you survived was wasted, and nothing you carried alone went unnoticed by heaven. The design of your destiny has been under construction long before you ever realized it, shaped not by coincidence, but by intention. Every heartbreak became a building block. Every delay became a foundation stone. Every setback became a structural reinforcement. What looked like disorder was actually divine order unfolding beneath the surface, and what felt like collapse was often the clearing needed for God to build something stronger. In the unseen realm, heaven drafts with a perfection that no human architect can rival. The blueprint of your story was never drawn in haste. It was refined through seasons that stretched you, humbled you, and strengthened you. You may have wondered why certain doors closed abruptly, why people exited your life without explanation, and why opportunities dissolved just when they seemed promising. Yet each of these moments served a purpose. They protected the integrity of the blueprint. There were directions you were never meant to walk, relationships that would have distorted your identity, and opportunities that would have distracted you from the path heaven prepared. The denials were not punishments, they were corrections, ensuring that every part of your story aligned with what was written for you. Now the quiet construction is complete. The internal work, your growth, your resilience, your healing, has reached the level required for the next chapter. Heaven does not reveal what you cannot sustain. Like a master builder, God strengthens the inner structure before revealing the final design. The endurance you developed, the clarity you gained, the discipline you learned, and the wisdom you harvested have all prepared you to step into the portion of your destiny that is now ready to unfold. Monday has been marked as the moment when the blueprint begins to take shape in front of you. The hidden pieces will start connecting in ways you did not anticipate, bringing sudden understanding to seasons that once seemed meaningless. What felt scattered will now reveal its pattern. What felt heavy will now reveal its purpose. What felt delayed will now reveal its necessity. There is a divine intelligence behind every chapter you live, and Monday is the day when that intelligence begins to show itself visibly. When the blueprint comes into alignment, life begins to organize itself around your purpose. Conversations shift, opportunities emerge, timelines rearrange, thoughts become clearer, and suddenly, everything that once felt out of place begins to fit. That is the power of a destiny entering its appointed time. You are not stepping into something new, you are stepping into what has been orchestrated for you from the beginning. This is why Monday holds such significance. It is not simply a date, it is a revelation. It is the moment when the architecture of your calling begins to rise from the invisible into the visible. And as it unfolds, you will understand that nothing in your past was wasted, nothing was accidental, and nothing was beyond redemption. The blueprint is complete. Now comes the unveiling. There comes a moment in every spiritually awakened life when what has been forming privately is finally ready to be revealed publicly, not through noise or dramatic declarations, but through a quiet and undeniable transformation that cannot be hidden. Monday has been marked as such a moment for you, the unveiling of the person you have become through endurance, through refinement, and through seasons of hidden growth. This is not the beginning of your becoming. This is the moment when your becoming becomes visible. You have been shaped in silence, strengthened in solitude, and matured through challenges that demanded more of you than you believed you possessed. These experiences have not merely changed you, they have elevated you. They have drawn out a depth of character, resilience, and spiritual alignment that could not have emerged in seasons of ease. While others may only see fragments of your journey, Heaven sees the full arc of transformation. And now, the time has come for the person you were always meant to be to step forward. Monday represents a spiritual threshold, a crossing over from identity formed in struggle to identity revealed in purpose. The version of you that rises on this day is not the one shaped by fear, survival, or uncertainty, but the one shaped by clarity, intention, and destiny. The pain you carried has been refined into wisdom. The waiting you endured has matured into discernment. The storms you survived have transformed into authority. Nothing about your evolution has been accidental. Every shift within you has prepared you to walk into this unveiling with confidence and spiritual grounding. In this season, there will be a natural filtering that takes place. Not everyone who has been part of your past will be part of your next chapter. This is not rejection, it is alignment. When your frequency rises, anything or anyone not aligned with where you are going cannot remain. Old identities, old habits, old environments, they cannot accompany the version of you that Monday will reveal. This is a divine filtration, a separation orchestrated for your protection. As you rise, certain voices will fade, certain relationships will loosen, and certain patterns will dissolve. Do not resist this. It is heaven, clearing the path so you can walk forward unhindered. The unveiling is not about becoming someone new. It is about revealing who you have quietly become through every trial and triumph. You are no longer defined by past wounds. You are no longer controlled by what once limited you. You are no longer shaped by old fears. What stands in you now is a person strengthened by endurance, guided by purpose, and aligned with heaven's timing. And as this version of you steps forward, the world around you will shift in response. There will be a newfound authority in your presence, not the authority that demands attention, but the kind that carries weight without effort. There will be a calm that cannot be disrupted, a clarity that cannot be shaken, and a confidence that cannot be diminished. This is the evidence of a soul that has been aligned, refined, and released into its appointed time. Monday does not introduce you, it reveals you. It does not change your identity, it uncovers it. It does not make you stronger, it shows the strength you have carried all along. And as you cross this threshold, you will understand with profound clarity why the path behind you looked the way it did. The unveiling is not the reward, it is the confirmation. You are stepping into visibility because heaven has declared you ready. When destiny approaches its appointed moment, life begins to shift into a rhythm that feels both unfamiliar and perfectly aligned. This is the nature of divine synchronization. Circumstances that once resisted you begin to cooperate. Thoughts that once felt tangled begin to organize, and pathways that once seemed distant begin to draw near. Monday marks the beginning of such synchronization in your life. It is the moment when heaven's timing and your readiness finally meet, creating a surge of momentum that carries you forward with uncommon ease. What once required force will now begin to flow. What once felt delayed will begin to accelerate. This acceleration is not the product of effort. It is the evidence of alignment. There are seasons when progress is slow because your spirit is still being shaped. But when the shaping is complete, movement becomes effortless. You are entering the kind of season where clarity arrives quickly, decisions become lighter, and opportunities seem to find you without striving. This is not a coincidence, it is orchestration. When heaven aligns with your timeline, doors open without demanding your exhaustion, and breakthroughs unfold without turmoil. Divine timing does not rush, but when it moves with precision. Monday initiates this momentum, shifting you from survival into purpose, from waiting into walking, from endurance into acceleration. You will begin to notice conversations that redirect your path, connections that feel perfectly timed, and ideas that activate with sudden force. These moments are not random, they are indicators that your life is syncing with what has been written for you. The spiritual realm has already gone ahead of you, arranging what you need before you step into it. As your frequency rises, you attract what matches it. As your spirit aligns, your reality must follow. This is why acceleration feels natural rather than chaotic. It is not pushing you ahead of your time, it is placing you exactly where you belong. In this season, the more you release resistance, the faster alignment unfolds. The more you surrender fear, the clearer your direction becomes. The more you trust the timing, the more miracles begin to orbit your life. Monday opens a chapter where movement replaces stagnation, momentum replaces hesitation, and clarity replaces confusion. You are no longer forcing doors open, you are walking through the ones heaven unlocks. This synchronization is the confirmation that your appointed time is not approaching, it has begun. As you stand on the threshold of what Monday carries, there is a sacred invitation resting before you, an invitation not merely to witness what heaven is about to release, but to participate in it with your whole heart. Destiny is never forced upon those who are unprepared. It is revealed to those who choose alignment, surrender, and readiness. Everything you have walked through, everything you have survived, everything that has shaped you has prepared you for this moment. And now heaven calls you to step forward, to acknowledge the shift, and to embrace the unveiling that has been divinely timed for your life. This is the moment to affirm your identity, to accept your readiness, and to declare that you are willing to receive the fullness of what God has prepared. As this sacred transition unfolds, you are invited to speak your agreement with boldness, declare your alignment, affirm your readiness. Whisper the truth your spirit already knows. The time is now. And as you declare it, heaven hears you. The spiritual realm responds to intentional words spoken from a surrendered heart. What you speak in faith becomes the pathway upon which destiny walks. In this final moment, let your words become a witness to your transformation and a signal to heaven that you are prepared for what Monday will reveal. Now, let us step into prayer. Father, in this holy moment, we come before you with open hearts, acknowledging that nothing in our journey has been wasted and nothing has unfolded outside of your divine plan. You are the architect of our destiny, the keeper of our seasons, and the one who transforms silence into purpose. We thank you for every trial that strengthened us, every delay that protected us, and every moment of hiddenness that refined us. Today we stand ready for what you have prepared. Let your presence settle upon us with clarity and peace, guiding our steps into the next chapter with unwavering confidence. Illuminate what needs to be released and what needs to be embraced. Strip away every fear, distraction, or burden that would hinder us from receiving the blessing assigned to Monday. Let your wisdom saturate our decisions, your favor surround our steps, and your voice become unmistakable in our spirit. We ask that you align our hearts with your timing. Let the acceleration you have ordained unfold without resistance. Open the doors that no human can open, close the doors that no longer serve your purpose, and lead us into the opportunities you have prepared. Strengthen our discernment so we may recognize your hand even in subtle moments. Grant us the courage to step into our identity with authority, humility, and grace. We surrender our past, our fears, and our uncertainties. We place our future into your hands, trusting that the path ahead has already been written with love, intention, and divine wisdom. On this coming Monday, reveal what has been hidden, release what has been reserved, and fulfill what has been promised. Let your light go before us, and your strength rise within us. And now, in alignment with the destiny you have prepared, we declare, the time is now, the door is open, and we are ready. Amen.